Hey everybody, stay tuned in this weekly update where I tell you about the Azure news, some of the new Surface accessories that have been launched, and also tell you what I've been up to. Hey everybody, welcome to this weekly update with myself, Sarah Lean. Thank you for joining me. For those that are new to this video, please do consider subscribing because I release a video every Wednesday and I do my weekly update every Friday. Now, I want to kick off with some Azure news and also some news around what the teams have been doing in terms of Surface hardware and accessories. So in terms of the Azure news, we have had an announcement that the MSIX App Attach feature within Windows Virtual Desktop is now generally available. Now, if you haven't checked out what this feature is, what it is it allows you the ability to add on applications to your users' virtual machine sessions. So gone are the days of having to have a golden image embedded with all the applications for someone to use for their day-to-day job. So you install the operating system and you install all of the programs that they may have to use, and then you have to maintain that golden image, which if you've ever done, and I have done it, is a complete pain and it is hard to do and actually kind of manage and keep it all up to date and everything like that. So what this new feature within Windows Virtual Desktop allows you to do is actually keep the image as is, so a very clean base image, and then when someone needs an application you can attach it into the session using this MSIX App Attach feature. There are some caveats around what applications you can attach, so it has to be one that's compatible with this new feature. So things like Power BI Desktop is absolutely an ideal candidate for it, and I'm sure there's other ones out there. So definitely a cool feature, and it's now generally available, so you're free to use this within your production environments and have support for that. Now, another bit of news is that the Log Analytics team have changed how they uniquely name the Log Analytics workspaces. So previously you had to have an exclusive or unique workspace name across the whole of Azure. So if someone had taken your naming convention, if they'd already used it somewhere in their subscription in the Azure world, you could not have that workspace analytics name. And for a lot of customers, that was a bit of a troublesome one. So what the team have now done is that you can have a unique name inside your subscription, and then other people can also use it. So it has to be unique within the resource group, but you can repeat that several times. So say, for example, you are an organisation that has multiple Azure subscriptions, maybe you have a production subscription, a development subscription and a testing subscription, and you want to keep them all the same. So your naming conventions are all the same. You can have the same Log Analytics workspace name across all of those environments. It just has to be unique within a resource group. So it'll give you much more flexibility to implement your naming convention across all of your environment. So I think that's it in terms of Azure news. I wanted to talk also about the announcements we have in terms of the hardware that we've got out. So we obviously have the Microsoft Surface range. There's a new Surface Laptop 4 coming out. I'm not sure what the dates are in terms of, I think it's different dates for different territories and different countries and stuff like that, but looks pretty cool. It builds on the success of our previous hardware, so previous laptop successes, and adds on additional features. I think one of the coolest features that I saw with the Laptop 4 is that it's going to be serviceable. So you're going to be able to remove that hard drive. Your keyboard is going to be serviceable and replaceable from a authorised kind of workstation or reseller, or I'm not sure the appropriate term or who those places are going to be, but they're going to be changeable features. And I think that's something that people have kind of complained about in the past, that some of the Surface laptops and some of the Surface machines are not serviceable in terms of getting easily replaceable parts. And I think one of the problems, I think, when I was looking at potentially getting a Surface laptop, and my mum actually got one, was with the Alcantara keyboards. They can get a bit dirty and grimy and worn out if you use them quite a bit, and it's not a great look for this really expensive high-end laptop. So being able to replace that when you need it, if it becomes faulty or even if it just becomes dirty and it's become worn out, then you can now do that with the Laptop 4. Alongside these announcements, we also saw some new accessories aimed at the Teams market. So they're certified for Teams, and they are dedicated for that. So we saw a new Microsoft Surface headset. I think it's called the Microsoft Surface 2 Plus Business headset, which is now certified for Teams use. I think previously, unfortunately, the Surface headphones have not been certified for Teams use. Doesn't mean that they don't work, it just doesn't mean that they're not guaranteed to work, and there might be some little bugs in amongst the system if you're trying to mute it, etc., and turn up volume, all that kind of thing. So there's new headphones from the Surface range. There's also 2 additional headphones that have come out, again aimed at the Teams market and having certified devices from Microsoft for Teams. Different price points, obviously. I think there's a wired one and a wireless one. And there's also been a speaker, a little portable speaker that you can plug into your laptop, and then if it has an omnidirectional microphone, and again it's Teams certified. So if you are having a meeting or in a meeting room and you're maybe having to do social distancing, this kind of speaker will help you with that and help you collaborate in a more effective manner than, you know, sitting in a room where there isn't a dedicated speaker. And lastly, we have had a new webcam. It seems like an age since Microsoft released a webcam, but they have released a new webcam. I believe it is 4K. I'd need to double check that, but it's 4K in terms of the resolution. It has a privacy feature built in, and yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting price point as well. They put it in at the kind of lower end market. I think I saw $70 for a price point. Potentially that may be a lot of money for some people, but again, it's in that nice little market where it can be quite useful. It doesn't have Windows Hello built into it, so a lot of people have been criticising that. But I think in terms of where we are as an industry, or where we are as a world, and needing webcams and wanting good quality webcams to have that connection with people that we can't necessarily go and, you know, spend time with and visit, this is a nice price point. And for me, it looks like a nice price point, and it looks like a contender in the market. It'll be nice to see people doing reviews and stuff about it. Again, I don't know the release dates for any of these PCs. I think they're all different depending on where you are and what country you're in. So yeah, exciting news this week. Definitely exciting news this week for sure. Now, for those that are watching on the video, and those who may be actually watching the audio, you might be hearing that like a burn and river running beside me. I am outside again. We have had glorious weather here in Scotland, albeit it's been cold at night and cold in the mornings. The sun has come out. We have had fantastic weather. I think in my greenhouse yesterday, it registered 38 degrees Celsius. Now, outside it definitely wasn't that. Outside of the greenhouse, it definitely wasn't 38 degrees Celsius. But it just shows you how warm it is actually beginning to go. And some of the seeds that I've been growing in my greenhouse are definitely enjoying this nice weather. So yeah, I've taken the time to nip out and do this video. I'm at a place where I was previously. So I was here last year, I think maybe even this year actually. When I came here earlier and did a video, it was really muddy and I couldn't explore, and this time I've been able to explore a bit more because the ground's drier and it feels a lot safer. I don't feel like I'm going to be sliding down a hill in my butt in mud. So yeah, the good news that we've had this week as well in Scotland is that we are now allowed to travel outside of our local area for exercise and activities and things like that. We have a bit more flexibility in how many people we can meet outside. A lot of our restaurants, hotels, businesses are still closed. They're not potentially going to be open until the end of this month, so the end of April. But it does give us a lot more flexibility and freedom to go for walks and activities and maybe visit some friends who live in different areas. So exciting news. Hopefully the weather will hold up. I'm not exploring beyond my own kind of backyard area today because the schools are still off here in Scotland. They're still on holiday, and I didn't want to go somewhere that was potentially quite busy because I'm still not happy about being in crowds or where other people are and maybe aren't respecting social distancing and mask wearing and stuff like that. So hopefully the schools will be back on Monday, and if the weather holds out and I can get time and I can think of a decent location to go to, then potentially next week's video will be in a completely fabulous, wonderful location. but we'll see how that goes. Obviously those listening on the podcast version don't necessarily get the full benefit of me visiting outside, and they might prefer it when I'm inside and the audio quality's much higher. But for those on the video, hopefully these kind of outdoor videos give you a bit of a change of a scenery, and hopefully, like I said, I'll get to explore more of Scotland now, or explore more nearby me, and show you some of that, because I know some of you have enjoyed that. I certainly am desperate to see other parts of Scotland. The area that I live in is lovely. It has some amazing places. If you've been following me on Instagram, then you'll have seen some of the photos that I've posted of the places that I've walked in my local area. But I'm definitely ready for a change. I definitely want to see more of Scotland. I definitely miss the rest of Scotland, the beaches, the castles, the sunsets, the sunrises from different places. It's definitely going to be exciting to be able to explore a little more, and I've got 2 walks planned this weekend, out with of my local area, so it'll be super nice to go somewhere else and see those places as well. Although I may have to work at the weekend because I have a busy week coming up next week. I have 2 presentations to do live. 2 presentations to deliver live. One on networking, one on hybrid, and I also have to deliver a presentation, a recorded version of a presentation. So a conference I'm speaking at in June has actually asked me to record the session and give it to them next week, which seems a little bit early for me, and definitely not the deadline that I was expecting. I thought applying for a conference in June would mean that I wouldn't have to deliver the session until maybe May or June even, but it is what it is, so I'll need to try and work on that as well. So potentially I might actually have to work at the weekend as well. So but we'll see. It's all good. I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. I'm focusing on the things that are enjoyable to me, that are bringing value to me and to my audience and the community. And I'm not being distracted by other people's objectives, other people's needs and wants, and trying to be me again. I'm trying to be Sarah. I'm trying to be Techielass. I'm trying to do that, and I'm enjoying it. I have my passion back, and do you know what? There's no stopping me when I'm passionate about doing something. So I'm excited about all of the deadlines that are coming up, even though they are slightly stressing me out. And I think the sun has slightly moved, and I've got a weird shadow on my face for those watching on the video. I guess that's the only downside of being outside and trying to deal with the natural light rather than the controllable light inside my office at home. But yeah, I hope I've rambled on enough, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing a bit of outside, something different, somewhere different. I have got some B-roll footage, so I'll be placing that all over this video, potentially if it looks any good. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed what I've edited this video as. And yeah, please do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave me a comment. I love to hear from you all and get your feedback. So yeah, have a good one, everybody, and stay safe.